How's it going, everybody? Little Joe, Back Bay Scale Customs, with the third or fourth installment, which is the wet sanding. Now, this is the part that a lot of you guys don't do, that a lot of you guys are afraid of and are confused about. For one, if you got a Hobby Lobby, go there and pick up both of these. Now, this is the one that has a paper back on it. This has like a plastic back. This one goes from like 320 to 12,000. This one only goes from 150 to 1,000. But I use the 600, 400, 600, and 1,000 out of this for the color wet sanding. And then when it comes for the polishing, I get into this one with the 6,000, 12,000 grit. But what you want to do with this, it doesn't have any writing on which one you'd want to use. And what I use is this. For the color sandings, I use two of them. I'm imagining it's the 600 and 1,000. 600 is this color. And I cut me a little strip off of it, about like that. And I hold it, you know, in my hand to where only a little edge of it is going to touch the car. Now, you want to be careful. You want to wet, what I do is I wet my sandpaper, right? And I don't press. I just roll around like this here, and it'll feel a little gritty, but you don't want to press. You don't want to, we're not trying to sand off the finish, we're trying to smooth the finish. And what'll happen is, after you do that a little bit, you'll start to see high spots and low spots. You know, there'll be bumps everywhere. And damn it, I'm out of napkins. I'm going to use my shirt. Don't tell nobody I'm going to use my shirt. But, yeah, I sanded on this a little bit last night. But kind of what you're going for, you see how smooth that is, how dull it is? You can look on, say, the trunk, and see how shiny the trunk is? See how shiny that is? And you see how dull this is? Nice and dull and uniform? That's what you're going for. And you kind of want that all over the car. Now, certain spots, certain edges, you want to stay away from edges. You want to stay away from raised areas. You want to stay away from, like right here, there's a raised area right there. I'm going to stay away from that. As far as the chrome goes, that's going to be bare metal foiled. So if the paint starts coming off on the top of the chrome, or maybe the door lock, that's okay, because you're going to be bare metal foiling that. So it's going to be covered. Now, once you get that all dull like that, you clean it up real good with water. Maybe even wash it off with some Dawn dishwashing liquid, because it takes all the stuff off of it. And let it dry. And after it dries, then you hit it with your first coat of clear. Now, all the dullness goes away once you hit it with the clear. It'll disappear. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize about wet sanding, is how do you get it, after you sand and all that, it's all dull, how the hell do you get it back shiny to put the clear on it? Well, you don't. What you do is you want to dull it up and get a nice uniform, even surface. And what'll happen is, when you spray, it'll deepen up again, it'll get nice and deep, and it'll be that nice pretty red that you originally saw when you sprayed it out of the can or out of the brush, and it'll look good. Then, after the clear coat dries, which you need 2 or 3 coats of, you don't want to put it on too thick, but you need 2 or 3 coats, then you wet sand the clear. And you're going to wet sand the clear very softly, the same process. And after you've done that 2 or 3 times, you know, I'll wet sand it, starting with the coarsest on up to the finest. Coarsest for me in that case is probably going to be, you know, 600 to 1,000 to 6,000 grit. And once that's nice and dull, then the polishing comes in, and I've got the stuff to polish with, which I will show you guys. But yeah, what you want to do is, like I said, I'll do this one more time for y'all. Wet the paper, or the thing here, and you just want to slowly sand. Don't push. Do not push down. Do not push down at all. And on the sides, it's the same way. You just slowly little circles. Stay away from edges and corners. You know, it ain't gonna matter that much. Once you get everything on and start polishing, a lot of it's gonna polish out. You know, you sand on your hood and everything. You nice small circles. Don't press. Stay away from any indentions, because it will, like this little hole right here, it will peel. It will take the paint off around the edge of it. So you want to be real careful around that. The main thing is patience, a light hand, small pieces of paper. I'm only using that much of that paper. You know, the rest is just for me to hold on to it. And just take your time. Take your time, and you'll slowly get it, the whole car, nice and easy. And with this part, if you do mess up and you do got paint coming through, screw it, you can spray it again. And with it wet sanded, it's going to look better. It's going to hold it, you know, better than it would otherwise. And then you just start the process over again. But the idea is to be easy with it. And this is also the time to put your decals on. If there's any decals you want to put on after it's wet sanded nice and smooth, then you add all the decals that you're going to add on the car. And once it's sprayed clear, you'll notice that all the decals will have raised. The decals will be raised in the clear. And that's not the decals, that's the clear just over the top of the decal. And what you wet sand and polish, all that will go away. And it'll be slick as glass, like it's part of the paint. But that's the next step. And like I said, go to Hobby Lobby and get you these right here. That's what you want to get. And like I say, on this one I use the 600 and 1000 to do my wet sanding. And this one here I'll use 600, 1000, 2000, 4000, 6000, or 12, just depending. That's on clear, on the clear, which I will show you guys later. But a lot of times you only need 2 or 3 or 4 different types of sandpaper. But the only way to get this fine stuff is to get it in this variety pack here. And this one is $8. This one is $9. There's enough stuff in here, if you keep it organized and cut off little pieces, that it will last you several models. So I'm Little Joe from Bag Base Scale Customs. That is the second, or no, fourth, I think, step. We had a bad rainstorm here last night, so I'm not going to be able to get to paint anything. But as you can see, you see that dullness, uniform dullness. It takes the shine right off. I mean, you can see that that's fingerprints you see on the trunk lid, but it's actually pretty good. It was a pretty good paint job. But you always want to color sand. Always want to color sand. That's what you want to do. Hold on, I'll pause it and I'll show you something. Okay, here's 2 cars that have been color sanded and wet sanded from the clear. I'm yet to do a video on this. This is almost a finished car, but as you can see how slick that is. See that there? And I actually went through the clear a little bit onto the decal there because I didn't have enough clear onto it. So you got to be careful about that. Also, you know, this here, the Street Outlaws build, which I have another episode, another thing of that. See how clear that is? How deep that shine is? That is all from the wet sanding processes that we're doing now. So if y'all stick with me and do what I say, y'all will end up with the same exact results. And I hope y'all do. So happy modeling. And I will do another installment of this when it's time to hit it with the clear and we have a pretty day. Last night it was crazy. I'm gonna upload a video of the lightning storm last night. But y'all keep y'all's eye out for the next one. And thank y'all so much for y'all's positive comments. And yes, I already super glued that together. I mean, are you crazy? You think I'd actually, you know, turn that thing upside? I'm Little Joe from Back Bay Scale Customs. We'll see you later.